peeps again, I said I'd be back. So this video is about why you might be seeing a bit more of this about and I'm going to explain in my way what this sign, if you've seen it before, pentagram, means to me. The path I'm choosing to go down again, because I've sort of been here before last year and a few years before and done bits and then sort of not really forgotten about it, but stuff's got in the way and I've not stuck with it as such, but it's been in the back of my mind, it's been calling me back a little bit, so I know that, well, a lot of stuff that's happened that I need to, you know, be on this path again. But before that, I just wanted to say a few things that I forgot to say in the last video is, and you'll notice I'm wearing black. I'm also changing black, and I'll tell you why in a minute. I forgot to mention about my hair, because I was saying, it does, I think it comes across, I think it does, on camera a little bit darker, even though my hair is dark brown, but I put colour on it a bit ago, it lightened up. I was thinking of doing it darker again, because I do think it suits me darker. I've had it blonde and stuff, but I do think it suits me darker. And I was making some dreads, and I've got this far so far, and I'm still like, I don't know, blah blah blah, this far with them. These are pretty long, and they look a bit darker than this, even though my hair is, this was supposed to be chocolate brown, but because my hair, even though my hair looks darker on camera, is a little bit lighter than these, I'd probably have to dye them a bit more dark brown, which I was thinking of doing if I put these in. If I did manage to do all these and put them in, because they're going to be, if I did, I'd have to braid them all in when I do all of them, and it'd look something like this, and it'd be pretty long if I do it. And a couple of them I've put like it's a bit like a caramelly copper colour, twisted, if you can see. Sorry, I've just tied them up. They wouldn't be all the dark ones, and then I'd have a few of them. Sneaking few. Can't speak today. Through if I do it, and then if they were up, I could show you. I could have showed you actually what they look like when you knot a few in your hair. But if it was up, you can imagine it all. It'd be braided hair. Might braid me fringe. It'd be, if I do it, I have these mad ideas. You know, what the sort of dreads would look like. Don't know what you think, but I'll carry on with it and see where I get with it. I'll try them. If they don't suit me or they itch or they feel uncomfortable, I won't wear them. But the only thing is, I might sell them to somebody if I didn't want them. I'm dead weird, me, because every time I mess with my hair, or I don't know if you've ever done it, I go to the hairdressers and I'm like, oh, my hair's getting on my nerves, I need it in a new style, or I need this. As I'm about to get it either coloured a different colour, cut a different way, or trim or whatever, I like my hair. So at the minute, because I was saying I can have it curly, but it bounces up, so it takes the length away. And it's not dead long, but it has grown a lot. These are my longest bits here. And I think if it was glossed up in a dark, because I know it comes across dark on here, but it isn't as dark as it looks on here, it'd look nice. And then I might need a little bit of this little bit, just cutting up a bit, because it's not been cut and styled for ages, because I've been trying to grow it. And I do like it, like, if I mess it up a bit, I cut a fringe, and sometimes I like my fringe, sometimes I don't. But what's good about this fringe is because it's a long fringe, I can do that with it and have a side fringe, so I can have it how I want, tuck it to the side. But at the minute, I'm liking it again, so I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I should carry on with my dreads, carry on with them anyway and see what this looks like, because that means I can change it up whenever I feel like changing it up, or if I want them in summer or whatever, you know. And I said it'll be easy to knot, because like I said, if you don't know, my hair is naturally curly. I have to straighten it to get it to look like this, and it took me ages this morning, and my knees were killing because I was on my knees trying to straighten it. Oh, I just did my head in. But anyway, that's another show, another hair tutorial thing or something. But I'm wearing black. I don't think you will ever see me wearing black in any videos unless I've ever had this on or a black vest top. But I put it on because it's fitting to what I'm going to talk about now. But also, if anyone is watching this video I'm doing, do you think I suit black? This has got flowers on. I know it's not totally black. I haven't got a lot of black things. I don't wear a lot of black because I've never really think that it suited me and thought it drained all the colour from me. But actually today I'm like, actually, that looks alright. I've always liked this. This is a long, it's like, it goes right down past my bum. It's like a long, like kimono style, open, lacy cardigan. I've always liked this. It looks nice with black pants when you go out. I mean, I will wear black trousers, but I'm just very like, don't wear a lot of black at all because I just never think it really suited me. I'm quite a summery sort of colours person even in winter, but maybe, you never know, maybe I'll start wearing a bit more black. I have got a black dress upstairs with flowers on, a little bit like this with flowers on, but I've got it goes a bit tight, but I'm losing weight now, so it does fit. So maybe I'll start wearing a bit of black. I quite like it today. I've just never really thought it suited me, as daft as that sounds. I know black suits most people. This comes off shoulders, by the way. It's one of these ones, but I've got a black vest, but I haven't got a lot of black clothes, but maybe I should start wearing a little bit more black. So we'll see. But what I wanted to talk about today was, I just showed you that sign and some people, oh, if you don't know, I've seen that symbol somewhere. I think it's evil or something. No, it's not. I'm going to tell you what it's about, and I'm going to tell you about my witchy Wiccan path that I'm going on again to stay on. But I'll just give you a little bit of background from when I've talked about this before when I was younger, but I'll just go into a little bit more depth, and I have wrote it down, trying to be a bit organised, but you know what all this is about. But so I might do some more chats on it as I'm going along in the practice. But I'll talk about witches, Wiccan thingy, but I'm just talking about why I feel I'm on this path and why I chose this path to go on, because you can choose any path to go on of a religion or a belief that you want, because you can. It's up to you what you want to, what you want to do. But just let me grab this so I can read it from here. But yeah, so as I was growing up, I've said before, my dad was in the army and we lived down south in trying to think, Somerset Way or Warminster. I'll have to ask my mum, but I know it was down south that way. And we grew up in the barracks on the army. We lived in Germany as well. We lived down south before we moved up north. My dad came out of the army, but when we were in the army, when my dad was in the army, all I remember being was happy. I just remember being happy down there. Not saying I wasn't happy up here. I think we moved up here when I was about 8 to Manchester, Stockport way. But when we lived down south, I just remember we lived in these houses and we had a bit of square. We lived basically, what I can remember, in the country. It was very countrified anyway to what some people would have done, because I remember a row of houses we lived in here like that. And then there was a gap here, and there was a little park there, this little concrete khaki park. They weren't as good as they are today, even though I could design some better ones. And then another row of houses, sort of in a square like that. There was houses everywhere, but we always had like a bit of greenery in front of our house. Like we had some bushes and some grass and some trees. But then we also had, where the park was on the side, was a lot of greenery, forestry, and then just over the way was another park. Like you went down into this park, there's no way you could have it now for health and safety. And then there was a swamp. There was a swamp, and over the swamp was farmer's field there, and we had forest. We had a lot of forest where we lived, of what I remember. But a swamp. That my sister, I've said this before, she used to fall, because she's 2 years younger than me. We used to try and in the swamp, because it was very swampy and there was mounds of like grassy moundy bits and then water, boggy, swampy water. And the farmer used to come out with his gun. So, yeah, he used to come out with his gun. And I remember him, he used to shout, but as kids we used to think, oh, he's horrible. Oh, he's trying to scare us. Run away from the farmer. Oh, he's nasty farmer. But it wasn't. I don't mean he was trying to shoot us. He was trying to shout to us to get off the swamp. Because basically it's dangerous. Because I just remember sister falling down it all the time. Now, there was loads of kids used to run around together, and some older kids, and these lads used to always drag her out. She was only little, but obviously if she'd been on her own or anything and fell in these boggy bits where there was a lot of water, she'd always go home wet. You could drown. You know, she could have got stuck, she could have drowned, anything. But we didn't think like that with kids. We used to hop on these moundy bits, and then we used to have this bit where we used to think, oh, if we chuck our chewing gum in there, it'll catch the ghosts that live in the forest, because that was just our imagination. Or if you put your chewing gum in there, it'd catch the ghosts on the upper side of the forest, because the forest here and the forest over the swamps, like, he just used to be trying to tell us, the farmer, to get off the land, to get off the swamp, because it's dangerous. Which it is, but you don't think like that when your kid's climbing trees and God knows what. And then I remember at the back of our house we lived in, there was a bit of a green patch and this little mini bit of a forest, I'd call it. Well, we did live near a forest, but this tree bits. I remember you used to climb in them. You used to be looking at these, I don't even know, there were these funny little flower things that looked like, they were like a lily with a, don't know if you remember, like a long tube bit. And if anyone remembers them sweets you used to get for a penny, they were like little sweet lollies, like long like that, with sugar on. And the inside of the flower used to have a thing that looked like that. But yeah, I just remember playing in trees, playing in swamps. The forest that we used to go in, that we used to take our dog for a walk with my dad. I love the forest, but there was a lot of sand there, but it was natural sand, and we used to play in that. Then there was a tree, a massive, could have been an oak tree, I don't know, that had fell down like that. We used to climb up that. We used to use it as a slide. I just remember lots of walks in the forest and stuff like that. And I've said before, one of my best friends was a tree. I had lots of friends down there, but one of them was a tree, Mr. Oak Tree. I used to collect acorns for the fairies, because I like the fairies. And there was another tree in another place we used to live when we lived in Catterick on an army camp, more up this way, Yorkshire, is it? If I'm wrong, I don't know. And I remember the greenery in front of our house again, and then you crossed the road and there was a river and a forest, and there used to be like this bit of a play park thing in there in the middle of a forest. You just won't do that these days with, you know, strange people hanging around and stuff like that. But back then just wasn't like that. We didn't hear a lot of things. But I remember going down the side of this riverbank and there was this tree, and because the tree was up there, the roots came down and it was like a hole under the roots into the tree. It was mad, like a secret hiding place in a tree, and it was great. But yeah, it was good, because we used to watch that. I don't know why this has just popped into my head. A Little Gang, and that's our little hideout, because we used to watch that. Do you remember a programme called, I don't know if anyone will remember watching this, the Red Hand Gang, I think it was called. I can't really remember what it was about, but it was a gang of kids in the little gang called the Red Hand Gang. I don't know why that's just popped into my head. But yeah, I was always near rivers. I got pushed into a river when I was younger off this lad, and luckily there was a tree in the water. When I got out, I couldn't swim, and I was scared of going home to tell my mum, because she's very like, what have you got dirty for? A speck of dirt on your own. I was thinking, oh my God, all my clothes are wet, she's going to kill me. Oh, obviously she didn't. She was glad that I got out, because I've never been a strong swimmer. But I just remember a lot from when we were younger, me and my sister, playing in swamps, playing near swamps, playing in forests, walking in forests, just having to think about trees, because we were around a lot of trees, basically out a lot in nature and outside a lot, where kids from my days did, not like today, in the bedrooms all the time, hence my eldest. And we didn't have phones and stuff, and we used to go out. But I was lucky enough to live near forests and things like that as a child, which is more, using your imagination magical, I think, when you're younger. If suppose maybe you did, or maybe you didn't, because some kids might do, but some kids may have always grown up in like a town environment and have never really had that sort of, that sort of like countrified, naturey sort of outlook that you used to, you were brought up as a child in your childhood, which luckily me and my sister did when we were in the army and stuff. And I think that's maybe where I've got my sort of like love for nature, especially the woods, forests, trees, that fairy sort of belief when you were younger, like stuff like that. So I've always loved being out in nature, and loved forests and things, and like the prettiness of a forest and the magical thing when I was young, like fairies might live there, and it was magical. And like when the trees used to, if you're in them places where the trees come over the canopy and it's all magical when the lights come through the leaves and stuff like that. So that's how I've always been. And I remember watching a film. I don't know if anyone remembers this. You will if you're a little bit older, maybe. I've always been into fantasy films, like fantasy fairy tale stuff. I still am. I just love it. And I've got things that I used to love and watch, and I still do now. And there's loads of other new ones that are up to date now that have been out, but this isn't in any order because it'll all be muddled up older and newer. But I remember watching, and it's on here, I remember watching when we were down south in the army, we were in the sergeant's mess thing, whatever you call it, and we were in the back bit, and they put a film on, and I remember, I'm sure it was called, I could be wrong, because I'm sure it was called The Sorcerer, or something in it, and I remember it having witches, sorcerers, wizards. Can't really remember that much what it was about. Well, it was obviously about wizards and sorcerers travelling somewhere, on a quest or something. I can't remember, but I loved it. And I remember liking it because all witchified and this, that and the other, but I don't know if anyone remembers, but I was very young, so I can't remember it slightly, but remember liking it. But a lot of films I like are Star Wars. Oh yeah, love me Star Wars. Not the new ones, the old ones. I like the new ones, but it was the old ones because obviously that's from my generation. And love me E.T. But Star Wars resonates with me as well because there's a message in it, and the Force is, in my head, is to do with the Force and everything. The Force will be with you. It's a lot to do with the universe. It's the force of energy, nature, energies, and stuff like that. But I'll move on quickly. But yeah, that's why I like Star Wars as well but I like sci-fi and stuff like that. Yeah, so The Sorcerer. Does anyone remember the Dark Crystal, the puppetry one? Loved that. The Legend with Tom Cruise in. Loved that. The Labyrinth. Everybody loves that. Never Ending Story. Witches. Do you remember Witches? The one in, was it down south where they did that in the hotel with the witches? Was it Little Simon and his mouse and the witches? Like I said, this is all in higgledy-piggledy order. Practical Magic, like I said before, and The Witches of Eastwick. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, used to love that because I love I haven't put anything on here actually, but I do love my vampire films. I love vampires. I've just got to think about vampires. I just find them very, very sexy. I like my vampires. I wouldn't mind a vampire coming into my bedroom. I used to really like Christopher Lee years ago. Oh, I used to have a think about Christopher Lee, but yeah. So obviously I love all, Interview with the Vampire and oh god, they've gone out of my head. I watched Dracula, the modern one, the other week. Oh my god, what are they called? Blade and all the different ones. I haven't put everything in there, but I love all that sort of stuff. With vampires, and they had spin-off Angel like that. I liked. Oh my god, why is that gone out of my head? The witchy series. Charmed, loved that. Shadow Hunters, which is a newish one. I watched on Netflix, but I've seen the first series, and I'm sure they put the second one up, and I couldn't get it. But I love stuff like that. Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Bewitched, the old Bewitched. There was something years ago called, I don't know if it's called Swinging on a Star, but it was a girl, and I'm sure she was magical or something in it, or came from a different planet, or like something. With blonde hair, it was American, and I can't remember what it was called, but the song went, I can't sing by the way. If you'd like to swing on a star, carry moonbeams home in a jar, na 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 na, you could be da 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 da. Does anyone remember that, or was it just me? That, whatever that was. Avatar, love Avatar. I think that's got a message in it. It's all about, like, when they kill an animal and they say sorry. If you've seen the film, when Sigourney Weaver, I can't remember the name that she plays in it, when she dies, it's like she goes back into the earth, because everything goes back into the earth. You know, you're born, you die. When you're buried, you go back into the earth. Blah, blah. I can't really explain myself properly, but and the Tree of Souls, the Tree of Souls, and I can't really explain what I mean, but to me there is a message in it, and about looking after the planet and looking after certain things in that film. To me, you know, we're all one. The animals. That's why when they kill it, they say sorry. But don't know if you get what you mean. I mean, but I know what I mean in my little head. Obviously, one of my all-time favourite witchy woo films, and a lot of people, is The Craft, which I said I'm watching tonight. I thought, I swear to God, I had it. I don't know what I've done with it. And like I said, there's a lot more. As in, I love Lord of the Rings. I love. I'm thinking of, you know, all the newish, like Snow White and the Huntsman, because I love Chris Doodah in it. I love my Thor films. I like my sci-fi and adventure superhero things as well. What was the other? Another one I was thinking of. Can't remember. But yeah, there's lots and lots of different films. Oh, Fright Night, was it? I'm not into scary films. I must admit, I can't watch horrors. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. I just scare myself. I'm on my own, so obviously if I was with someone, I could try and watch one. I should try and watch one, but I just can't. I couldn't even watch Freddy Krueger now or anything. Still can't watch stuff like that. I just can't do it. I don't mind sort of weird ones, but I'm really, really rubbish with anything scary. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I like all my magical stuff, make believe, and I just love all that. So that's always been with me as a kid. Them sort of films. Just reading on it. Oh yeah, my dad was always like. I just remember growing up, like teenagers, he got into different things like a bit of Tai Chi and a bit of like reading about American Native Indians, you know, their beliefs and stuff like that. Because the thing is, with what I'm trying to talk about, Wicca, paganism, whatever sort of thing you want to say, it's nature based. And obviously, like Indian American stuff is nature based. A lot of things that, because paganism, pagan can be, it's quite a big umbrella to be under, because it's nature based. It's not Christian or Christianity, religion based belief. It's nature based, and that's what I like about it, because all the things that I've grown up as a child, the things that I've loved, have been like in nature, and that to me is just what resonates with me. Because I remember as a child, we used to sort of say things like I've been christened, but my sister hasn't, which I found a bit weird. I haven't christened my kids because I don't believe in it, and I don't go to church, so I just see it as a bit like, well, I'm not just doing it to do it as though I'm getting christened, like it's a bit of an ease up and I get some presents for my kids. No, I know some people do it for that. They don't really. I mean, you know, whatever faith you're into, that's great, and if you go and do it, but I don't. Like I said to my, oh, what are we? And she went, oh, Church of England, and I used to be, I was like, Church of England, you know, like, but never really. I just remember going to church on a Sunday sometimes with my nana, and I just remember sitting in church thinking, some kids do, some kids don't, but I just remember thinking, I don't get it. I don't, just, I don't like it. I don't get it. It just didn't register with me anything. I just thought, no, I don't really. We didn't go all the time. I just thinking, no. And I remember going to sort of a Sunday school thing or something I went to as a kid, and remember thinking, might not have been with my family, might have been with a friend, someone who was looking after me. I just remember thinking, it's not for me. Not that I'm saying that it's wrong or whatever. It just wasn't for me. It didn't. I mean, if you go to things like that and you think, yeah, I believe in this and it's great, wow, and I love it, and then that's good because that's what you believe in. But I just remember sitting there as a child thinking, no, it's not registering. I don't get it. But with this, I do, because a few years ago, where this first started was, I'd come out of a relationship and a few things had happened and I was a bit down. Not that I'm ever like dead down in the dumps or anything. I was just feeling a bit dead down and like, oh, and I'd been put down a bit as well off this person was in a relationship, so I was feeling a bit crappy about myself. So this is when I first started going on YouTube. I don't mean doing videos like I do now, but watching people and learning a few different things about people and coming across people. And I remember coming across a few things about Wicca and stuff, and I thought, oh yeah, and a few people who call themselves witches. I'll talk about that in a minute. You know, and a few things they were saying, a few videos, and one of them was, you might know her. I mean, there's a few people that I have watched. Teal Swan, Mandy C, she's English. She's a witch. She does tarot. I think she does card readings and stuff now, tarot and stuff. But she does things on her channel. If you don't know, Mandy C. I think it's Mandy with an I, Mandic. But the one I first saw was Tiptoe Chick in America, and I'm so chuffed that she's back making videos. And I think she said it's been about 9 years or something. I didn't watch her ages ago. I watched her a few years ago, but then obviously she went quiet. Now she's come back again and she's done a few new videos. But I'm so chuffed because I just used to love watching her, and that's where I really started thinking, yeah, do you know what she's saying, and Mandy's seen a few others, and there's loads of others that I watch as well, and since as well. I think, yeah, that does make sense to me because of how I believe and what I used to do as a kid and this, that and the other. And I just remember watching this and started doing a few things and a few spells and things that people, well, what you'd call a spell, and different things, and it started making me feel really positive. And I loved some of the things, you like, from the Wiccan read and stuff, which is, I'm not going to go through all that, but because if I start doing this I might tell you about my journey and stuff. But like, basically it's like a karma thing, you know. You don't do anything untoward to anyone, anything awful, and it won't come back to you. That's why I say it comes back threefold. If you do something, it'll come back threefold to you. So really it's like, you know, their sort of little rule thing from years ago is basically saying it's karma, because if you do something awful to somebody, if you're nasty to someone, it's going to come back to you and karma's going to bite you on the ass. And that was their thing from years ago, to say, you know, it'll come back threefold, you'll get it back 3 times over if you're nasty to somebody. So all the things in, if you look at Wicca and stuff like that, it's not all to do with worshiping. Well, it's not, say it's not all to do with worshipping the devil. They don't believe in the devil, they don't believe in God, don't believe in a devil. It's nature based. And it's about being positive, kind and nice to people. And when you see this sign like that, and I've got a little one here, and this one here, I'll tell you my little thing of what I see that as, what it is known as, but how I wrote it in my little book. So I've made myself a little book for my little things I can write down for YouTube for my little Wiccan spiritual journey, or whatever I'm going to call it. But basically, when you see, I've wrote it down so I can show you, when you see the pentagram, the circle with the star in, basically, it is, let me see, it's a star, so there's 5 points on it. Now, I don't know if this is written the right way around, but basically this is the way I've done it. At the top is spirit, and these are the elements, and this is why it resonates with me. This star, the pentagram, it's elements. It's the 5 elements. So you have spirit, water, fire, earth, and air in the different points. And then I saw something the other day and I thought, oh, I really like that as well. Then within the star, you know, these bits that cross over here, it says on here, sorry you can't see it, can you see it? Probably can't read my writing. So along with this, in this, you know, this sort of belief system sort of thing, is like respect. Down here, gratitude. Well, I talk about gratitude and doing gratitude journals. And then going across, compassion. Have compassion for people. Going across this way, forgiveness. You must forgive to move on. Across here, love. Love is everything. Love is to do. You know, love is a lot. And then I don't know if I just said, yeah, respect at the top. So that's good as well. It's not what you think it is, you know, if you look into it. But also with that, with a star, if you think about a star, down here I've drawn a little picture. It's like your body, head, arms, and where your legs would be. You know, when you stand like that, if you did the points, it's like a star, because it's to do with the universe. I see it as all this. It's the 5 elements, the universe. We are, believe it or not, and if you've never heard this, go and look it up. We are all made, like when they say the Big Bang, we are all made from stardust. We've got stardust in us. Star body, star shape, star pentagram. Also, the number 5, well, there's 5 points, I should say. If you think about it, our body, you have 5 fingers, 5 toes. There's 5 senses. Smell, touch, sight, hear and taste. And also there's sort of 5, what do you call it, like 5, what's the word, stages sort of in life that you go through, which is like baby, toddler, the teens, I didn't know how to put this, you know, adult, and then sort of elder adult. That's 5 points of the star. So all that to me just makes sense. Might not make sense to you, but it makes sense to me. And I like the what's the word, it just resonates with me. The 5 elements, the respect, the gratitude, the love, the forgiveness and compassion, all within this sign as well. And then the little picture, that it's like your body and the senses and well, what I've basically just told you. That all resonates with me. That just totally makes sense to me. And it's to be out there in nature. So, when you hear someone say witch, it means wise person, someone who used to use herbs. They might have done, herbs to help people, to make medicine. The craft might be like, the craft means like, as in, they might be a herbal healer, so they use herbs, or their craft might be they're good at, like tarot reading or something, making contact with the spirits, something like that. It's not an evil thing like some people make out it is, or some, religions make out it is. It's not. We don't sort of believe in, or most I don't like a God, God and a devil. No, it's more like, I believe in it as, I don't believe in God and a devil, and not as in a person. I believe it's the universe. And when we go, our energy goes into the universe, not like you sat in heaven sort of thing. And some people have like deities, and gods in the Wiccan religion, like what they sort of like put what's the word? They're they use it as a visual thing. Can't say what I mean. Like if you believe in God, as in God, then you, like I said before, you pray to God, that you see God as, I don't know what you see God as, like a man with a beard or this manly figure. Some people will use different deities as like the moon goddess, or the sun as the male and the female, or they might use them out of different gods out of different cultures and things, you know, like some like, I don't know what the names are, sorry, but you know, like Egyptian goddesses and out of different you know, cultures and beliefs and stuff, because that's just who they resonate with. That's what they use as their visual sort of thing when they're sort of praying or doing ritual work or spells. But like I said, a spell is putting your thoughts and things and wishes into the universe. Like I've said, praying is, if you pray when you're, I don't know how you pray, but if you are one of the people who pray before they go to bed or whatever at church, and you're like, you know, help me God to blah, 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 and you're visualising something and you're saying it, or you're saying it out loud in your head, that is like what a spell is. But sometimes people who do spell work, as in, they use the tools that you might have seen in different things. I don't have tools as such. Tools and like bits of petals and different things. It's to visualise it, and because you're putting your energy into that thing and you're putting it together, if you've made a gift for someone, I've done it before, your energy's on that, but energy of positive stuff. It's not, say, like black magic. It's nothing to do with that. It's being positive. Your energy's on it, so your goodness is sort of on it. When that person receives it, they may feel, you know, they believe it as well, because I don't know if you know what I mean, because your energy and stuff's on it, your love, your positivity. But basically, it just resonates with me, because I just think, well, yeah, but I can't get my head around like having a deity, I can't say it properly, or goddess. It might change on there. I haven't got anything up there at the minute. Like I said, I have my cauldron. I have got my flowers for Ostara my spring display. And there's a little fairy up there that my sister made. I think I've shown it before. Just because I love, you know, all little girls are into fairies and stuff. Not that I'm a little girl anymore. I've got some of my crystals, because that's another thing I want to look into. I've got a few more somewhere. I don't know if you can see. Can't remember what they're called. I used to know what these are called. This is a bit yellowy. Some people might know. I have to get back into my crystals again. A little quartz. A big piece of rose quartz. A little heart one that fell off a necklace, but I just love it, so I should really fix it back on a necklace, because I do make jewellery. Lovely blue. I think I got some of these. I went to a Mind and Body Spirit event a few years ago, which I need to go to on this year, because it was great. And then obviously I've got a piece of amethyst, because that's my birthstone as well. It's like quite nice. And then Nana's little pot owl. I just remember as a child I've got that. So I've got my crystals and that up there. You can do work in crystals and stuff like that. Someone's craft might be in crystals. Oh, and then a big piece of rose quartz. Love that one. I've just got my burners. So you might think this is witchy witchified, but it's not. I've got oil there with rose petals in, because it's got a steep for starting to smell a bit rosy. 3 weeks, because I'm making some natural lip balms, if anyone's interested. And I've got my, I think I said, yeah, I've got my cauldron, but you've heard me talk about what I use that for. It's not what you think you use it for. You can use it to burn your wishes out if you write something, or your negativity, to burn it away. It's not what you think it's for. It really like used for cooking and stuff, and doing your herbal remedies and things like that. That's why I said it's good to look at some things sometimes and not listen to what people say certain things are when you don't know. So yeah, so that's why also it just, I don't know, it just pulls me all the time, because the more older I'm getting, it's because, I'll tell you what it is. I'm just feeling like I need to be centered, and I need to be doing something maybe in the morning and at night that is a bit of, you know, like a ritual sort of thing, just to centre me. And I want to get into a sort of like a religion-y, not like a cult religion, but doing it my way. Like I've told you, people think rituals, what? You're going to, kill a goat or something, or a chicken or something? No, like I've said before, I do rituals every morning anyway, because like I've said, I have a book similar to this one of my journals that I make, and I write in it every morning about how the day's going to go, and at night I write in what I'm grateful for. It's a gratitude book. Gratitude. That's a ritual. You do rituals every day, like you brush your teeth, you put your makeup on if you're a girl or a boy. Certain rituals that you wouldn't think are rituals, but it's something you do repetitive. You do the same thing every day. I've started yoga every morning. That's a bit like a ritual now, and I find that quite relaxing. I'd like to learn. I've done bits before meditation. I want to start doing that either in the morning or some parts of the day, just to centre myself and keep my mind still and visualise things and stuff like that. But I want to get into something where I want to follow a sort of like, so I can celebrate things monthly as well, like All Star. I like the, the pagan Wiccan like wheel of the year with the different holidays in, Sabbaths and things, which I'll go in. I'm not going to go on about that now, but that resonates with me as well, because celebrating the different, ends and beginnings of the different seasons and things like that. It's all nature based. I just love it. So I want to follow my heart with things that I want to do. I don't get swayed off people because I don't listen to what people, some said, oh, that's well. I don't care. But the only thing with this is I'd be solitary in it, and I just do it the way I want to do it. Like I've watched things a few years ago, and maybe that's why I sort of sat back a bit and thought, well, I don't know, but then it's come back again because I've watched some people and they'll say, oh, you need to cast a circle, or you need to do this when you're doing this, or if you're doing this sort of work or sort of spell, wish thing for someone, do this, and it's wrong if you don't do that. It's not wrong. It's got to resonate with you. I think it's got to be what you like. I've done something once and thought, God, I have to do this, and where did that go? And I don't really get it. And why am I saying these words that someone else has told me to say? And I have to keep looking at books. I don't know what I'm saying. When you can make your own little, if you're doing a little ritual, your own words to it, because it's got to be from you. It's got to resonate with you. So I want to do my things my own way. If I don't have a goddess or god on there, then so what? Doesn't matter, because mine is the universe. And that other thing about, I won't say church because it's not a church, but my own church is within me. I am my own church, my own belief. But I think if anything did come and I wanted to put something up there to symbolise some sort of like, to visualise it, because I think that's why some people do have statues and things of a deity, I can't say deity, or a god, is because they need to visualise it, or they want to put the focus on something. That's why a lot of people have it. And I've never really found one that I've been, oh yeah. But if anything, if I think I did, which I did have two in the garden, one smashed, so I was pretty gutted, and they were from only being them, so I'll have to have a look again. It weren't a statue, they were in the garden, but I mean, if I could find something, is, funny enough, and it's on my necklace, is I would resonate more with the sun and the moon, like yin and yang, dark and light, the moon being the woman and the sun being the man, because the lunar, like the moon to me is more womanly, because it's got the same cycle numbers as in like women, when time of the month and all that and stuff like that. And that's, I just see the moon as a woman. So it'd be nice to get like maybe some sort of moon and sun thing going on in there. And funny enough, on my necklace, this gemstone here, it glows a little bit, is an actual moonstone gem, funnily enough, on there, which I do really love, the moonstone gem. And I think I've got a pendulum, showed you the other day, I think that's moonstone as well. So it's funny how I've got a bit of moonstone. But yeah, so I don't know if any of that's made sense. It's not what you think it is, but I might be doing more videos on this as I go along and what I do. But I do my things the way I want to do them. If it doesn't feel right to you, no one can say, no one in who will say they're Wiccan or they're a witch or pagan. I get a bit confused with it all sometimes, sort of thing, but nature-based sort of thing. Oh no, you're doing it wrong, you're doing it this way, we do it this way, or I do that way, or it doesn't work if it's not like, no. You do it the way you want to do it. There might be certain things, elements, or bits and bobs, like say you wanted to do some sort of like, whatever you want to call it, spell or a wish or something that you just want to, that's why you do them, when you can do candle work, because you visualise it, putting your energy into it when you're doing it, putting all your focus on it, so it becomes sort of magical to you. there might be certain things someone might say, like, well, if you do that for that, you need a red candle. And I do believe in that. Like, there might be certain elements like, oh, yeah, you need a red candle. Or, you know, if you're doing a love spell, it might be, you might do a little spell bag for someone and it might have, like, say, a little rose quartz in it, like love for love. And then there might be certain flowers that might go with certain things because of the properties in the flowers or the essential oil, which I got this a bit ago and I've not really read it that well, but with the sign on the front. But it was an encyclopedia of magical ingredients, and it's just basically, you look in it and you might see, like, I've got daffodils there, so you could find the meaning of what the daffodil is, you know, in case you wanted to pick a daffodil and use that daffodil in some work. Or even if I was making, you know, I said I was making my dream catchers. Let me show you if you've not seen this, guys. Just let me get up and get it. Yeah, this dream catcher that I've made, handmade, the handmade paper that I made out of junk paper, and the hearts have got, I don't know if you can see, rose petals in them, and I've got rose petals hanging up there drying out. I could do some of these dream catchers and I could do my paper butterflies with bits of daffodil in it, you know, if I wanted to dry these daffodils out. So in a magical sense like that, if you understand what I'm talking about. So if I looked in here and so, like, say maybe someone say, oh, could you make me a dream catcher, but I want like a love one, because you can have anything on it, you know, and one that's a bit more to do with, because dream catchers are nice anyway, take away your bad dreams and that, don't let them, you know, negativity and stuff get to you. But I could sort of customise them to different things. But sorry, I'm just trying to find daffodil. I know it's in it somewhere. Say I put, let me see, dragon's blood. Come on, daffodil. Daffodil, the first one in the book. The ruler is Venus. Type, plant, obviously. Magical form, fresh or dried flowers. Sprinkle dried petals or place fresh flowers on an altar. I've got them on an altar at the minute. To attract friendly spirits. Keep in the house or garden to cheer you up. Add to bath water to increase your luck and bring new people into your life. Mix with rose petals and place around a photo or a lover you want to return to. See, that's quite nice, because in a witchy woo way, I'd take that as in I could make some bath salts or some bath stuff with dried daffodils in for someone, because it's saying, you know, if you bathe in it, it's to increase your luck and bring new people into your life. So nothing scary and horrible about that. That's like, do you know what I mean? Do you get what I mean? So you can look in here and see what different flowers are made for. And to me, that's another craft of me that's making other things, which I do want to make some bath bombs and some other bath stuff and some lip balms and stuff like that in my soul creations when I get all my stuff on there, because it's still not up yet. But I don't really think that's a good idea, but I want to make some natural skin stuff as well with little, like, wishy blessings in them. Nothing wrong with that. I think it's cute and I think it's nice and it's all positive. And that's what it is. If you've ever heard of Wicca or, you know, like, sort of thing, it's a positive, nature-based religion belief. So there's nothing bad in it. So I will be showing you snippets of what I'm doing, and if I change my altar or add things to my altar, because like I said, I will keep a lookout for something moonified and sunnified. So if anyone ever sees anything, wherever, B&M's, wherever, like little statues or something, let me know, because I did have some plaques that were in the garden that I showed last year, and when the winds came, Doris, whatever it was, one fell down the back and smashed. So I don't know if I think I've got the sun, I haven't got the moon, but they were dead cheap, so hopefully they might have them in there again. They were for the garden, but I wouldn't mind some little, not massive things, but yeah, I don't know. I've got a Buddha on there. There's a little Buddha on there because that's the other thing as well. You can take it from different nature-based beliefs and religions and put different things on there. It doesn't have to be all witchy-pooified, because nature-based is under a lot, you know, under the umbrella of pagan. Pagan were a lot of things, apart from Christianity, the Abraham sort of beliefs are not that. Pagan is nature-based, and there's a lot of you know, religions that are not Christian, that they are nature-based when you look into a lot of them, Hindu and stuff like that, so you can take different snippets. I don't know if I've made sense, and I don't know if you understand, so if you have followed me on my channel and now started seeing these little signs thinking, oh God, what's she into, Satanism or something? No, it's nothing to do with that, and I'm just going to show you snippets because I'm trying to be true to myself. I'm not scared of telling people that that's the route I'm going on. That's just me getting older and realising the sort of stuff of what I do, and I'll do it because that's what I believe in, and I'm not bothered about if people think it's wrong, right, or whatever. It's right to me, and my friends are brilliant anyway because they just go along with me. No, I don't tell them to do it or anything like that, but I have made things for people. I do try to give my positive vibes to my friends. Like I told you before, a friend was upset in a good way the other week saying that I've helped her and stuff, and when her dad passed a few years ago, I made her a little hanging thing with a little glass bottle on with her dad had made a garden gate before he died, and she had a bit of it fixed a little bit, and there was some wood that she had off it, and I said, could I have a little, it's only like a tiny bit, she gave me a big bit, but a tiny bit, I think I've got some of it somewhere, and I broke some of it off and I put it in this bottle, and I made this pretty thing for her, and I said, hang it up in your bedroom, or wherever you're going anywhere, take it with you, and your dad will be with you, because he's to me, his energy and his essence was on that piece of wood, because he made that gate with his own hand. It was a handmade gate. And she went to America and she said, oh, I took it with me. Like, it was sort of like a little key ringy thing, but she hung it up in the bedroom, but she said, I took it with me. So my dad went with me. And that's what I'm all about, stuff like that as well. So, and I have made Cheryletti, and there was a girl called Dixie, at the beginning of my YouTube channel, when I made them bracelets because they were feeling a bit down, and I made them bracelets and said what the little charms were for on it, you know, to make them feel a bit more uplifted, which it did. And yeah, as you know, Cheryl's on my Instagram and Facebook, and we say hi now and again and stuff, but just stuff like that. It's just nice, and my positivity dropping and stuff like that, which I'll be doing when I go to London to watch Wicked, which I can't wait. But yeah, and that's to me what it's about, and that's why I'm sort of, well, I'm not sort of, I'm going down that route again, because it just makes sense to me, and I want to be in a bit more of a routine sort of thing with something to keep me centered and positive and creative, because it's a creative thing as well. You can make a lot of things in it, like I do anyway. You know, if I'm making my books, instead of gratitude books, or they could be a book of shadows, or whatever you want it to be. So yeah, I hope that made sense. I'm going to go and chill out now, watch The Craft and whatever. Like I said before, I was going to watch some witchy woo stuff tonight just because I feel like it. Because I doubt there'll be anything on I want to watch. Yeah, let me know if you think I suit black. I might, if I do some more videos on this side of it, I might wear the black for it. But yeah, I quite like it today. I've just never thought black suited me. You might not think it does, I don't know, but I was just like, I've just never thought it suited me. So yeah, so let me know if that made sense. Oh, because you know what I'm like. Bye.